always tell people I'm fucking rigging certified. From where? Tijuana, homie.
What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 2 of the K24 Civic swap, and today we're going to be showing you how to drop the k24a2 out of the TSX. So it's a pretty simple procedure. If you guys watch the Accord video, it's about the same. I think they actually have the same exact mounts and everything, so it's not too much different from that one if you guys want to go ahead and check that video out. But anyways, since we're going to be doing this one, we're going to go ahead. First thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery so we don't get shocked and have no electrical problems. And then we're going to just start taking off little stuff like the airbox. So the airbox is usually a 10 right here, and then there's a 10 right down there. Can't really see it, but right there. And then let's see, we got to disconnect it from right here off the throttle body as well. Take this sensor off. So we're gonna start with the airbox, and then we're just gonna start moving to like the power steering, which is just 212s right here and right there. Everything else, like hoses, are really simple. We just got to disconnect brake booster, fuel, our heater hoses, and all kinds of stuff like that. Radiator, we got to get this out of the way. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the airbox, do the power steering, and maybe the brake booster line, and then we'll come back and start seeing what else we're gonna start disconnecting. All right, so we are back, got the battery out of here, got our intake out. Also on the intake, you have to disconnect this line and this connecting hose and this connecting hose as well. So we got that off, and you have to disconnect it from here. There's no like coupler or anything, it just comes off. You just have to kind of pull on it. Got the power steering pump out of the way because we won't be using power steering on the hatchback we're going to be running. It's just going to be EP3 idler pulley. And then we have our brake booster line disconnected, which is real simple. So now that's out the way, the next thing we're going to be doing is getting to the fuse box and disconnecting our harness. So take that off, and then we got some Phillips or 8mm right here. We'll disconnect that to get the harness disconnected, and then we got this little plug right here. You just pull up on this little tab, and that'll come right out. Also, we're gonna go ahead and take these grounds off, which is two 10mm bolts. I'm not sure if you got a ground kit, so we might be reusing those. And then we got one over here as well, just a little 10. You can use, or two 10s, depending if we're gonna use those or not. But that we're going to be disconnecting, and then we're going to go ahead and let our AC system, if it hopefully it's not filled, or if it is, we're going to loosen the bolts, kind of tug on them a little bit so the Freon can start coming out, and we'll get those disconnected as well. And then we'll come back after that and show you what else we need to do. All right, so we are back, and we got our AC lines pulled out. Luckily there's no Freon in there, so that was pretty easy. There was just two 10mm bolts. And then we went ahead and pulled out the fuse box for the alternator starter. So we got that out the way. Now we can also, this plug right here was right here, just connected to that. So you just kind of pull up on the tab, which is this right here. Pull up on it, that'll pull up off of this, and then you just unplug it by pushing that down. So that was pretty easy. We have, let's see what we got next. We got to do probably the radiator, be the next thing that's easiest. So we're gonna have to pull off all these little plastic right here. This one's kind of already undone, so just got to finish a couple more right here, so we'll be able to take this plastic off and get to the radiator. And as far as like the tabs, as you can see, there's a tab right here, so you just push down and pulls right up, and then you just push that down and pull out. And then you have a plug down here as well, and that one I believe pushes, you just push that in, and that should be able to pull out, and you can the plug. I don't know if you can really see it, but you just push that plug down and then that'll pull out of there. And then you have the other side of the fan where you just pull down right here. And then same on this side, just push that down. And then I think we have a sensor at the bottom for fan. I can't really see it right now, but we'll get to that. Other than that, we just got the bottom and top hoses. And that should be able to take the radiator out itself. Right now, JFab is on here working on the cat to disconnect that. So there's 3 bolts right here, 14 millimeters, and then there's 3 14 millimeter bolts in the front. You might want to use a breaker bar to get those off because they are going to be pretty rusty. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead, start getting this done, get the radiator out of here so we can get some more space in here so we can start getting to the mounts. We got the slave cylinder down here. We'll be doing that next as well, getting the shift linkage and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this radiator out and then we'll come back. All right, so everything's starting to look a lot more spacious in here. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, I did the grounds as well on the last part. But anyways, got the radiator out. So it was this plug right here. This plug was at the bottom that I couldn't see, that I wanted to show you guys. It's your fan temp sensor that turns the fan on. And then we got the fans. I actually took the fans off, so there was 3 10 millimeter bolts. And I took the reservoir off with it, so that's the other bolt. And then basically that's it for the radiator. It just unplugs right there, the 2 fans, and then the AC plug, which is the one I showed you guys right here at the bottom. And that's how you take that out. Also, on the bottom hose, I just took the 310s out since it was gonna be a little harder to get pliers in there. It's just a little simpler to get the radiator out. You can take it out with pliers as well, but that was just easier for me. So next thing we're gonna be doing is getting to the slave cylinder, taking our shift linkage off, which is just these cotter pins and 3 12 millimeter bolts and then 2 10 millimeter bolts each one, and get that out the way. And then we're also going to be disconnecting our rear heater hoses, and make sure you take these off at the clamp because they're going to be reusing those to run the heater into the EK. So after we do that, we'll come back and see what else. We also got the cat off, which is just 3 14s, 1 2 and 3, and then 3 in the back. We took it from the downpipe though, so it's, I believe, 2 12s.
Yeah, 2 12s.
Yeah, so it's probably a lot easier if you just take it from the downpipe and then the rear, because these ones are usually like super rusted. So other than that, we're gonna start knocking out the linkage, slave, and heater hoses, and then we'll come back. All right, so now that we're back, we basically got almost everything out the way as far as in the rear hoses are done. And we kept them like that because we shouldn't have to really cut them as much. We're just gonna just a slight cut and measure, and they should fit right on the EK hatch. But that's off. Shift linkage is disconnected. And next thing we're gonna start doing, since we're not gonna be using this harness, is I'm gonna disconnect the whole harness from the alternator, knock sensor, starter, the whole engine harness itself. And that's just gonna keep it on the car in case anybody actually wants to use it, since we're gonna be using an RSX Type S 02 to 04 harness and charge harness. And then I'm not sure if he's using hybrid or whatever, but he's got a conversion harness, so I won't be wiring up the car like I did on this hatchback right here. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking everything apart. I gotta take off this. These are just a whole bunch of 10s, some 10s right here to get to the injectors, the coil packs. And then on the side, there's the crank sensor, the VDC sensor, etc. So we gotta get those disconnected as well. So I'm gonna get that going, and then we're gonna take off this battery tray. And most likely we should almost be able to get to the suspension next, which we're about to start hopping on right now, and then I'll show you guys what we did on that so we can finish this thing up before it gets dark. So go go ahead and knock out this harness and start getting to the suspension, and then we'll come back. All right, so as you can see, I got the full harness disconnected from the engine now, disconnected the coil packs, all the sensors on the side, the injectors, throttle body, and all the sensor that was on the transmission, speed, reverse, and 6-gear lockout. So right now, all we basically have is the mounts left. I already did the suspension as well. It's just a 36mm nut on the actual axle. There's a 17 at the bottom. You just hit that with a hammer or a ball joint breaker. And then there's 17 was a shoehorn and a 14. So 17 on both sides and a 14 that takes off the shoehorn and then pop off the lower ball joint, and the axle comes out. So pretty simple. They're kind of like the EG DC style arms, and like the Accord as well, so same thing. So now what we have to do next is start taking apart these mounts. Kind of already started unbolting it right here, but we get the front one done, the rear one, and then we'll be able to cherry pick it out. Hatch should be on his way today or tomorrow, and then we're gonna clean up this engine and everything, make it look nice, and get ready to drop it right back in. He has all the parts, mounts, and everything to get it going, so should be a pretty smooth transfer. He did the EG subframe already, so that takes a little time to do, so luckily that's already done. So all we have to do is prep this with the CRV post mount, throw the Hasport mounts on there, and it's ready to go. So next video we'll be dropping this motor into the hatch, so stay tuned for that. So right now we're gonna go ahead, disconnect these mounts. They're mainly 17, so there's a 17 right here. These are 17s and a 14 in the front, same in the back. You got 2 17s and a 14, and then over here is just 2 17s, and then we can lift this thing out. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting the chain on so we can get it ready to lift out, and then unbolt all the mounts, and we'll pull it out. All right, so JFab went ahead and put the chain on the engine, and now we got it hoisted up, and it's basically ready to come out. I just wanted to show you guys the points where we put it at, so you can maybe use them on the same as yours, or we're just showing you basically how we do it. But yeah, so that's it, guys. All the mounts are all taken apart. This motor will be ready to rip out, and then the next video will be actually cleaning it up and dropping it into the EK. So let's go ahead and rip this thing out, and then we'll come back and show you that it's out the car. All right, so the k24a2 is completely out now, and it's ready to get cleaned up. We'll be doing all that for the next video. We're waiting for the hatch to come through actually, so we can start part 3. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you haven't liked, share, comment, let me know what you guys think. If you need any parts off of this car, let me know. If you're interested in the shell, let me know. Hopefully by next week, the hatch that this motor will be going into will be running as well. If anybody is interested in my hatch as well with the K20Z1, let me know. It's for sale. And we got the Spider, hopefully in the next couple of days. I've ordered the parts already, so we'll get that going. We got the Z1 timing belt situation we still got to handle, so a lot more content coming in. But stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.